Hi everyone, my name is Mary and welcome back to Quinn Ink. Today in this video we're going to do wing square number 2. We're still on section 1 of the Batman blanket. So let's get started. The yarn you're going to need is going to be your blue, your black, and your yellow. And I have all of my stuff ready here. So the first thing that you're going to want to need to do is you're going to want to make a slip knot. Okay, so we'll make a quick slip knot. And in this one, what we're going to be doing in every single squares, I'm going to have you doing the foundation double crochet. I feel it's going to be very easy to do, and it will get you to the stitches that we need to get to. So to start the foundation double crochet, you're going to chain 2, 1, 2. You're going to yarn over, go into that very first stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and you're going to make a chain, and that's it. And then you're going to yarn over, go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. And that is how you make your double crochet foundation. And what you just made was a chain and a double crochet. You are working on the bottom of your work. We're going to do that again. Yarn over, go into that stitch that you see right there, 1 and 2. Make sure to keep your work loose. Grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. 3 loops on your hook. Grab your working yarn, make a chain. Grab your working yarn to finish off the double crochet. There you go. We are going to be making 20 of these. So if I put this down and you look on here, it says 20 right there. So 1 through 20. This is how wide your wing square number 2 is going to be, and then we're only going to be doing 20 rows. But we have to make sure these little pieces are going to be within this section. I'll do one more foundation double crochet with you, and then I will let you go and you will finish the 20, 19, it'll be 18 more foundation double crochets. So yarn over, go into the next stitch right here. Make sure to keep your work loose. Grab your working yarn, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. Grab your working yarn, pull through the first loop to make a chain. Grab your working yarn, pull through 2. Grab your working yarn and pull through 2 to finish off with a double crochet. If you cannot remember, if you are working on the bottom of your work, always remember that your crochet hook right here where the loop is always on the top of the loop, so of the work. So when you turn it over, this is where you're going to be working. This is how you make your foundation stitches. Okay, so I'm going to make 20 of these. When I'm done, I will be back and show you what to do next. Alrighty, so I made the 20 foundation double crochets. Make sure that you count these so that you have 20 of them. When you are finished, turn your work over. So you're now working on the top. Now the only thing that we're going to be doing is chaining 1 and double crocheting into every stitch all the way across. So if we put this down for a moment, and we take a look at our diagram, we need to find out how many blue rows do we need to make before we need to connect our black one, which is down here at the bottom. According to this, since there's 5, there's 6. So it looks like we're going to do 6 of these rows. So you will do, so this will be your first row, second. So all together you're going to need to do 4 more rows after you do this one, and then I will show you how to connect the black to your work and make this section for you. Okay, so I will be back once I have 6 rows. Alrighty, so I'm hoping that as you were making your rows, you didn't forget to chain 1 and then double crochet across. And when you got to the end, chain 1, turn, and double crochet across. So I have 2 more stitches left, and yes, I did actually finish my 6 rows. Make sure to grab your black yarn, which I have right here. We're going to double crochet into the second one before the last. Normal double crochet. Last stitch. You're going to go into it like a double crochet and come out. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2. You're going to stop right here. Grab your black yarn. Make sure to pull some out. You're going to make a slip knot. Okay. Here. And I make sure to put my finger in it, and then I grab it, and we're going to finish off that double crochet. You're going to pull on the blue with that knot right there. You're going to pull your working black yarn away from your work like this. You're going to grab the black yarn tail and the blue, and you're just going to tie a quick knot. And that is how you join your black yarn. Now we are on this section right here, and I have 1, 2, 3 stitches I am going to need to crochet into. So I'm going to carry that blue yarn with me across the black. So we're going to grab our black yarn. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. You're going to grab your blue yarn, which is right here. Sometimes it gets stuck. And put it on top of your stitches right here. We're going to double crochet 3. So you're going to double crochet back into that same stitch where you put where you had joined and you chained 1. Double crochet back into that first stitch and 2 more stitches of black as you are crocheting over your blue yarn. You must take your blue yarn with you in order to do this. If you do not take your blue yarn with you, okay, we're nearing the 3rd stitch. Okay, so if you don't take your blue yarn with you, then it will hang out over here and you won't be able to crochet the rest of the blue that you see in this diagram. So you have to crochet all the way across. So this is row number 7. We have 2 double crochets in black. We're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, grab our working yarn and pull up a loop, grab our working yarn and pull through 2. You're going to take your black yarn and put it behind you or have your middle finger grab that. You're going to pick up your blue yarn now and you're going to grab, your crochet hook will grab that blue yarn to finish off the double crochet. Now you're going to double crochet across the row in blue. Okay. I will meet you at the other end. Okay, so I made it across to the other side and I have 1 more stitch left. Okay, so now you're going to do is chain 1, turn your work. Now we have to make sure this has 2 rows of black. So I'm going to double crochet across the row. And just before this stitch, on this one right here, I will meet you right back. Don't forget to chain 1 and double crochet back into that first stitch. Don't forget to miss that stitch, because I don't chain 3 and then skip the stitch and double crochet into the next one. I just chain 1 and then double crochet right into that very first stitch. Okay, so I will meet you back at this one right here. Alrighty, so I made it to this stitch right here. Now I'm going to show you what to do. You're going to yarn over, go into that blue stitch, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop. We're only going to do half the crochet, so you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. You're going to put your blue yarn now behind your work, and your black one should be in the front. You're going to pick this one up and you're going to pull it right through the blue. Then you're going to take your blue one back here and kind of pull on it so it secures it. Yarn over, pick up this stitch right here, it's not really a stitch, and then go into the next stitch behind it. Hold it with your fingers, grab your working yarn, pull up a loop. Finish with a double crochet. That hides that funny looking yarn so it's not sticking out and making problems within your work. Okay, we are going to double crochet to the end, and in my instructions it now tells me I need to change to yellow. So as you saw me do, we're on the very last stitch, going to yarn over, go into the stitch, grab your working yarn, only do half of your double crochet, put your work down, and grab your yellow yarn. And now we're going to make a slip knot with our yellow. And if you're wondering which row we're on, we just finished 8 and we are now working on row 9. And so this is what it looks like, and row 9 is just above the black, and so we'll do 3 double crochets, bringing the blue yarn and the black yarn with us at the same time. Make a slip knot, pulling that through the black yarn to finish off that double crochet. Pull on the black yarn to secure it. Grab the yellow tail and tie a knot. And that's all you do. Since we don't have the blue with us, you're only going to take the black with you. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and now you have you have black and blue and yellow now connected. We are going to double crochet into the first stitch, double crochet into the second stitch, and into the third stitch we're going to do a half. It's not a half double crochet, it's we're doing just half of the stitch. Just like this. You're going to drop your yellow yarn, and now you're going to try and find that black yarn. Oh, see, I didn't take it with me, so now I have to pull it out, and I have to go and grab the black yarn. This is what happens when you do not take the black yarn with you. So I didn't take it with me, so I got to redo this. That's okay. Pull on it, make a double crochet. Now we're going to make that half of a double crochet into the stitch. Grab your working yarn. Hold on, it's kind of tight. There we go. Grab your working yarn, pull through only 2. Put your yellow behind you, grab your black yarn, and finish off that double crochet. Pull down on the yellow just a little bit, and now we're going to want to take this blue yarn with us. So with the black, so we're going to put this down for a minute. We're We're going to pick up our paper. We're going to look and see how many stitches we're going to need. We're going to need 7 stitches of black. So we're going to do 7 stitches. So I'm going to pick up the black, and I'm going to put the blue, and I'm going to take this with me. Yellow stays here. I come back with the black. So we're going to go across like this. We're going to be in the blue, and we're going to go up. This is row number 9 that we're going to be on right here. Number 10 will be the next row where we go up in blue. We go across with black, and we pick up that yellow. Then that yellow is going to come across through the black, on top of the black right there. So I'll show you what to do with that one. Okay, so you can grab your black yarn and your blue one, and you're just going to yarn over, and we're just going to double crochet. Pull on that blue a little bit. You're going to double crochet 7 stitches. I will meet you at the end once I have my 7 stitches. Okay, so I got to 6, and this will be number 7. Yarn over, go into the blue stitch, pick up a yarn, grab your working yarn and pull through. Put your black yarn behind you and pick up the blue yarn, since I already brought it over, and just pull it right through. Pull on that black yarn a little bit, not too tight, and then we're going to double crochet to the end of the row. This will be row number 9 right here. So all you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 with the blue, turn your work, and double crochet to the black. I will meet you back at this stitch once I get to the end, and I chain 1 and then double crochet across. I will meet you back and I will show you what to do next. Okay, so I made it all the way back. We are now on row number 10, and I have 1 more stitch till I am ready to pick up my black stitch again. This is my last stitch, and now I'm getting ready to pick up my black one. I'm going to go into the stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops, grab my working yarn, pull through 2, grab the blue yarn and put it behind, pick up the black yarn and pull through, finishing off the double crochet. Pull down on the blue, yarn over, pick that piece up that I just made and go into that stitch right here. Grab my working yarn, pull up a loop. That puts those behind me, and I can finish off with a double crochet. And then you double crochet until you get to the yellow. And your yarn is going to tangle, as you can see. Try not to let it bother you too much, just kind of push them out of the way. And then I'm going to double crochet to the yellow. Almost there. Here we go. There's my stitch. Yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, only do half of my double crochet, grab my yellow yarn, finish off that double crochet, pull down the black yarn, yarn over, pick up this one, go into that stitch, grab my working yarn as I'm holding it with my fingers so it doesn't come with me. Whoop, try that again. And then I have 3 loops, grab my working yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2. Finish off with the yellow. Alrighty. So the next portion, since that was 10, this is row 10 right here that we just finished, we're not going to do 11. So with row 11 we're going to chain 1, pick up our black yarn right about here and keep double crocheting until we get to the 7, until we get to right here. Okay, so I'll show you how to do this. Let me grab enough of this yellow so we can do this. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work. You're going to double crochet into that first stitch like this, double crochet into the second one, and you're going to double crochet into the third yellow right here. Okay, you will be picking up your black yarn, which is right here, and you're going to take it with you. Means you're going to put it across your stitches like this. So you're going to yarn over, go into that stitch, make sure the black yarn is on top, as you can see right there. So when you pull that loop through, it holds it in place. And then you're going to pull on it just a tad. And you're going to keep doing that until you get to right here. Then you will pick this back up, and you will also take the blue with you once you get to this part. So I'm going to double crochet to the end of the black.
Almost there.
And there we are. Alright, so now what we're going to do is, since we're right at that piece, we're going to take our yellow yarn, make ourselves a double crochet, stop right there, grab the yarn, hold it, pick up the black yarn, finish off that double crochet, pull down on the yellow, and let it go. It's going to stay right behind right there. We're going to pick up the blue yarn with us, and it's going to come with us as we double crochet with the black. So into the stitch, making sure you have 3 loops. So you have the 2 loops you went under plus the one that is a working yarn. Grab your black, pull through to make that double crochet and finish it off. Don't forget to pull on that blue just a tad. 7 black double crochets. I will meet you back once I have my 7 black double crochets, and we are on row 11. Alrighty, so I did my 6 black double crochets. I have 1 more. I still have that blue yarn with me. We're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up that black loop, grab our yarn and pull through. Put the black yarn behind us, pick up the blue one, and finish off with the double crochet. Grab the black yarn and kind of pull on it, drop it, and double crochet in blue to the end of the row, which is 3 stitches. And there we go. We are done with row 11. Okay, and this is what it looks like so far. So you have the 2 black pieces and then the starting of the 3rd one, and then we're going to have 1 more at the top, and that one is going to be a small one like this one. And this is what it will look like. So we just finished row 11. We're going to chain 1 and go across the row for row 12. So 10, 11, and 12. 3 blue, all this black, and then all of this yellow. So that should be pretty simple. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, double crochet 3 blue, into those first 3 double crochets, yarn over into the stitch right here before the black one, do a half, do a portion of the double crochet but don't finish it. Take your black yarn and finish off that double crochet, pull down on it, yarn over, pick up that fake stitch, go into the stitch, hold on to those 2 as you grab your working yarn so it doesn't come with you, and do your double crochet. Double crochet to the yellow, and as you can see, there's all my yarn. This is what it does. Don't get angry or anything. This can get very frustrating. You just hold the 2 pieces and just slowly pull on your other yarn. This one has a little bit of a knot. I had to connect some black yarn. Okay, there you go. Just enough to get me to the end of the row. I'm still trying to figure out an easier way to keep my yarn straight and not tangled. Okay, I have 1 more stitch, and this is the one where I'm going to pick up the yellow. So I'm going to go in to my stitch, pull up a loop, grab my working yarn, pull through 2, hold the black yarn, pick up the yellow, and finish off that double crochet with the yellow. Pull on the black just a little bit, not too tight. Keep the black back there with the yellow, with the blue. Yarn over, pick up that stitch, go into the stitch right there, hold those 2 with my fingers as I'm grabbing that yarn and pull up a loop. So I only have 3 loops on my hook. Grab my working yarn, pull through 2, grab my working yarn and pull through 2. I am going to double crochet to the end, and then I'll show you how to do the next portion, which will be row number 13. Alrighty, so I made it all the way across the end for row 12, and we are going to start row number 13, and we are all the way over here. So 12, 13. Okay, so with 13, all we're going to do is double crochet all the way across to the black portion right there. And somewhere along this line, we're going to have to pick this up. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work. Make sure all your string is now in the front, because it was on the back side. So we want to pick up this black string once we get to this yellow piece and take it with us, because we have 1 more black section we need to finish off, and then the blue section is actually done. So I am going to double crochet into the first stitch, and I am going to double crochet into the next stitch, and I will meet you right here. Alrighty, I made it across the row. Now I need to just put I need to make a double crochet into that yellow, and yep, sometimes your yarn gets tangled. Grab your black yarn, don't forget to pick that up and put it over the stitch, right on top of the stitches like that. Yarning over, going into the stitch and making sure you have 3 stitches as you grab. So you'll have, here, I'll go in real quick. You'll see that you have 1, 2, and 3. You'll grab that yellow yarn and pull up, and there is your working black yarn. Finish off with a double crochet and just keep doing that as you're going along, taking that yarn with you. So when you get to the other end, you can just pick this up right away and start doing your double crochets in that color. So I'm going to finish all the way to the end of the row, and then I will show you how to connect the black yarn, and then we will cut off the blue and the black yarn. We will still need the black yarn. So here we are. So we're going to do our double crochet as normal, and then we're going to drop the yellow, and I'm going to pick up the black yarn, finish that double crochet, pull on that yellow, and it's going to come with me. Actually, it is not going to come with me, excuse me. So we'll just go across and then do the black and then do the yellow all the way. Okay. So drop the yellow, start doing your double crochets now. So you will do 3 double crochets in black. 1, 2, and 3. And yes, I'm sorry, there is a little bit of a tangle. It's okay. I just kind of hold where the tangle is, try not to tangle it too much, and just pull on my yarn. I'm going to finish off with a double crochet. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn my work. We're going to do a double crochet into the first stitch, a double crochet into the second stitch, and last but not least, a double crochet into the very third stitch right here. We are going to not finish it off with the black, put it behind us. We're going to pick up our yellow and finish that double crochet off with a yellow yarn. Don't forget to pull on the black yarn just slightly to secure it a little. Yarn over, pick up this yarn and go into the stitch. Hold the stitch and that little fake yarn or stitch. Grab your working yarn, pull through, finish off with a double crochet. We're going to stop right here for just a moment. I'm going to grab my scissors and we are going to cut off the black yarn and the blue yarn. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I grabbed my scissors. We are going to cut these off. You're going to want to keep a little bit of a longer tail, and this is going to be for sewing and tying a knot. So I made a little bit longer tail so I can tie a knot, because this is going to be loose. Excuse me. This is going to be loose and you want to tie a knot in there, and if you don't, this will come loose. We're going to do the same thing with the black yarn as well. Make it a tad long, cut it. Now for these wonderful strings, you can now start pulling on them. Yes, it does get tangled quickly. Find one of them, like this black one, hold the colors and pull since you cut, and you can get that one out of there. The yellow is still in there. Do not pull on the yellow. Hold the yellow, pull the blue out. Blue will come out real nice. There you are. And then that way you can go back to crocheting. And I will leave those strings there. And when we are done, or when I'm done crocheting this, or when you're done, I will show you how to tie those. So you're going to take your yellow and you're going to double crochet across the row. And I believe we are going to be on, looks like row 15, oh excuse me, row 14 right here. So this is going to be row number 14. I will meet you at the end of row number 14. Okay, so I reached the end of row number 14, and as you can see, this is what it looks like. It's really good. Now, for your next 3 rows, 15, 16, and 17. We'll zoom in. 15, 16, and 17 will all just be yellow. When we get over here to row number 17 and you have finished, we will connect our yarn in black, and I will show you what to do for the last 3 rows. And then we have reached our goal of 20 rows. Okay, so I will meet you back when I have made all 3 rows. So don't forget, you're just going to chain 1, turn your work, double crochet into that very first stitch on the top right there. Because I don't chain 3, you'll just do a double crochet. The chain 1 is to help us get to the height of a double crochet. And then I'm just going to double crochet across the row. And I'm going to, whoop, I skipped one. So I'm just going to double crochet into each and every stitch across the row, and I'm going to do 3 rows of yellow. When I'm done with 3 rows of yellow, I will come back and show you how to do this black section. Alrighty, so I finished the 3 rows of yellow. Now we have a little interesting thing that we're going to be doing. So if we look at our diagram, we'll see these 3 double crochets of black that we did down here. Well, this little black box right up here is going to be up here. Now, as you can see, my crochet hook is all the way on this left hand side. So I get to show you how to connect your yarn when it's in the middle right here. So what you're going to do is we're going to chain 1. It's going to be row number 18. You're going to turn your work, and you're going to double crochet into the very first stitch right here. And now you're going to double crochet 15 of these. Okay? Actually, double crochet 14. And when you have 14 double crochets, I will meet you back and I will show you how to connect the black yarn. Alrighty, so I'm back and I have done my 14. Now in this little box that you see right here, it needs 5 stitches. Okay, so if you look over here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5th one. This is the one where we're going to be connecting our black yarn in the 15th stitch. You're going to yarn over, go into the yellow stitch, pull up a loop, grab your working yarn and only pull through 2. And now you're going to pick up your black yarn, make a slip knot, make a slip knot. What I like to do is put it around my finger and then pull on it. And then once I feel it's a little tight, I pull my finger out. And then I will connect it to my yellow. Then you're going to grab your yellow working yarn and your black tail. Okay, and these are the 2 you're going to connect. You're actually going to tie them just once. Make it snug, don't make it too tight, okay? You're going to drop your yellow down, and now you're going to start double crocheting. Make sure this is out of the way. You're going to start double crocheting 5 double crochets. Whoop. Sorry, there was a hair there. So you're going to do 5 double crochets. And this is row number 18. Row number 18 is done. Row number 19 and 20 are going to be the exact same. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, you're going to double crochet 5 stitches in black, just like this. If I can get it closer. If you hear that tapping, it's actually my watch. the face of the watch taps on my desk. Okay, so we're going to do 5 black double crochets, 4 black double crochets. Into the 5th one is where we're going to do the double crochet half stitch like this. Drop the black yarn, pick up the yellow, and finish the double crochet. Pull on that black yarn to give it a little more secure. You're going to have that little fake stitch there, almost forgot. Yarn over, go into the stitch, go under this one, go into the stitch, hold those two like so, grab your working yarn and pull up a loop so we can hide that within your work, because you don't want anybody to be able to see that. It looks absolutely terrible. And then oh, I must have split my yarn. I did. That's okay, it happens. I'll just show it to you one more time. Hold it. Try not to split your yarn as you're pulling through. Do this one slowly. This one sometimes can be a little difficult to try and do. Okay, so I'm going to double crochet across the row, chain 1, double crochet in yellow until I get to this stitch. When I get to this stitch, I will meet you back up. Okay, so I made it all the way back around, and this is going to be row number 20. You guessed it, this will be the last row. So excited. So we're going to yarn over, go into our yellow stitch, to only half of the stitch, put your yellow behind you, grab your black yarn, pull up that loop to finish off that double crochet, pull on the yellow to tighten it, yarn over, pick up that fake little stitch you see there, into the stitch, grab the fake stitch and the regular stitch, grab your working yarn, pull through, make a double crochet. Okay, and one more stitch, and then I'm going to grab my yarn needle and I'm going to show you one more stitch. Yay! Pull through, cut, pull through, and we're done. And then with the yellow, we're just going to make a long enough tail and cut. Now I'm going to grab my yarn needle real quickly. It should be right here. Here we are. It's a funny looking one. I'm going to show you real quickly how to tie one of these into a knot, because this is loose, and when you have something that's loose, what ends up happening is your work will come apart. So take your yarn needle, put your yarn through the needle like this. If I can get it through. Okay. I will pull it out just a little bit so you can see it. Okay, so we have our yellow sitting right here on the stitch. So what we're going to do is, let me move my light a little bit. So here's your stitch and here's your yarn. You're going to go up through those two stitches like this. Okay. Normally I have a metal needle instead of a plastic one. I'm going to turn it so I can see it a little bit better. And I'm going to make a loop. Then I'm going to go through that loop. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this new loop that I just made right here and pull on it. Then I'm going to pull on that loop, and I'm going to go through this one more time. And then I'm going to slowly grab this piece and pull on this, holding it down as I pull, and then I'm going to pull on this one, holding it down as I'm pulling. And there you are. You've made a knot. Okay? And there you go. You can pull on it. And then you can take your yarn needle, and you can go through your stitches like this. One more time. I'll go through it one more time. Okay. Yarn needle, I have to pull on it. Going through the stitches, just like that. Okay, and then sometimes you can go back through those stitches like this to, hold on, I'm have to pull on it, get it through. When you do this, be careful, you're going to have this little loop right here. You don't want this to tighten this stitch right here. Looks a little funny. So just a little bit. And then you can go back one more time if you have enough yarn. And what that does is it actually secures your yarn perfectly in place. And then the last thing you just got to do is just cut it. And if you pull it out, you will actually see it doesn't look that bad. And that is how you do a knot for this one, a knot for this one, and a knot for the blue one. And that's how you sew your strings in. As for the strings over here, I would just sew these in because you already have a knot right here. So just sew this one in along with this little black one too. And it's quick and easy. And don't forget, when you're sewing in your strings, make sure it's in the same color as your string. You don't want the yellow to go into the black. You'll actually see that. Okay, so that's how you sew in strings. I hope you enjoyed the wing square 2. This is going to be section 1 because it's in the section of our Batman wing section. Okay, well, I hope you liked this video. Please don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more tutorials like this one. And as always, have a wonderful day and have fun crocheting. Bye-bye.